You know, sometimes an idea seems so obvious you can't believe you or anyone else didn't think of it before. What do global mainstream audiences seem to love more than anything else? Well, if the box office and TV ratings of the last decade have been any indication, the two-part answer is reality television shows about singing competitions and funny talking animals. Put them together and you've got Sing, a movie that is actually pretty damn good as these things go. I mean, I don't want to oversell it, but when Sing is working, which is often, it's so good it almost starts to deserve the obscene amount of money it's probably going to earn just on that premise alone. Almost. Even still, when you actually think about it, the general premise is kind of genius. The appeal of agreeable reality TV pablum like American Idol or The Voice is their base level accessibility. It's seemingly ordinary people belting out familiar, not terribly complex pop hits, doing a narrative movie version of that same milieu where you can condense the speed of things and control the characterizations just makes perfect sense, and doing it with cartoon animals neutralizes complaints about losing the supposed realism factor. That's deviously clever enough that it's not too much of a surprise that while the animation heavy hitting was handled by Illumination, yes, aka the Minions people, the screenplay and direction are from the guy behind Son of Rambo and the Hitchhiker's Guide movie. Anyway, the setting is a modern-day city of anthropomorphic animals, so Zootopia, but more Los Angeles-y and coastal, I guess, and without all that social commentary. Matthew McConaughey is a koala who owns a struggling musical theater that he's trying to revive by staging a singing competition, and ends up garnering unexpected massive popularity when a typo accidentally advertises a prize of $100,000 instead of only $1,000. A plot detail that actually ends up having a bit less to do with what goes on in the movie than you might expect. After all, the plot is just an excuse for a strategically mixed group of characters with celebrity voices to sing fiendishly well-chosen mix of recent radio hits and karaoke night pop standards, and in both respects they've organized quite a lineup. You got Reese Witherspoon as a pig homemaker out to prove she's still got the moves, Scarlett Johansson as a porcupine rocker chick stifled by her jerky partner/boyfriend, Seth MacFarlane as a wiseacre mouse who does Sinatra covers because who the hell else was going to take that part, Taron Egerton as a street tough yet sensitive gorilla boy who's torn between singing and joining his father's criminal gang, gee, who's the breakout character going to be, and Idol veteran Tori Kelly as an elephant with a powerful voice but crippling stage fright. And the end result of all this is actually really charming and earnest and sweet. There's a certain point where you realize that there's no subversion going on with the premise in terms of mocking the easily mockable American Idol ephemera, but also a complete lack of cynicism about the whole songs people like to sing to themselves set list and the star for a day fantasy of mustering the courage to get up on stage and fearlessly express yourself either through a favorite song or maybe one of your own. It understands that the sincere reason that the premise of talent shows connects with people and why this particular arrangement of song cues works, even though, or rather because, some of them have become kind of cheesy and overly familiar. As in, yes, someone sings Hallelujah and they do it at the exact moment of the story where you'd expect to hear that song because, shit, there's a reason these things become standards. Yes, Seth MacFarlane Mouse ultimately does My Way because you can't do a movie with this premise if someone doesn't get up and do the ultimate dad at karaoke song. The eventual reveal of what Johnny the Gorilla actually plans to sing is really clever, and the whole sequence resolving his storyline with his father hits much, much harder than it has any right to. I'm not sure if the comparison totally makes sense, but the film has the same kind of relationship with popular music that Guardians of the Galaxy did. It's kind of wedding reception set list to the movie, but like I said, standards become standards for a reason. Now, the inevitable comparison will be to Zootopia, and no, it's not nearly as good as Zootopia, what is? But other than the talking animal setup, the two films are doing very different things to very different ends. Sing is much more in the Looney Tunes crowd-pleaser tradition as opposed to going after the transcendent big idea Disney angle, but in its own way it manages to deliver a collection of really interesting, fun, likable characters going through satisfying arcs over the course of an entertaining story that really leaves you feeling upbeat and fulfilled and probably with a couple decent songs stuck in your head on the way out. It's 100% cinematic comfort food, but sometimes you want that, sometimes you need that, and when it needs to be, Sing really, really works. It might be the best movie of its kind since School of Rock, and that's high praise as far as I'm concerned. And moreover, that's good news because, let's face it, the premise of this alone was going to guarantee they'll make millions of dollars and probably 4 or 5 more of these, even if it wasn't any good. So yeah, 3 stars. As holiday movies go this year, you can do a hell of a lot worse.